never careful till it hits the gun. She will always pay the bills for the having big fun. He talks so well, what can you do? It's pretty plain, he means it too. I don't want to sell you lines, I only mean to do you right. But I'm a simple slave of appetite, I'm a poor slave of appetite. Hunger howls, hunger's red, hunger stays till it's fed. Then it somehow fades, then it somehow leaves your side, depending on its appetite, depending on your appetite. So if you take, then put back good. If you steal, be Robin Hood. If your eyes are wanting all you see, then I think I'll name you after me. So if you take, then put back good. If you steal, be Robin Hood. If your eyes are wanting all you see, then I think I'll name you after me. I think I'll call you appetite. Here she is with two small problems and the best part of the blame. Wishing she could call him heartache, but it's not a boy's name. If you grow up to be just like him, just like me, you're fighting for exclusive rides, for honeymoons each sleepless night. In which case I'll call you appetite. Yes, I think I'll call you appetite. So if you take, then put back good. If you steal, be Robin Hood. If your eyes are wanting all you see, then I think I'll name you after me. I think I'll call you appetite. So if you take, then put back good. If you steal, be Robin Hood. If your eyes are wanting all you see, then I think I'll name you after me. I think I'll call you appetite. Then I think I'll name you after me. Yes, I think I'll call you appetite.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay? I hope so. I don't have my soundboard with me today. I have a pretty mobile rig happening. Let's see, what's the date? May 2nd, 2021. I'm broadcasting to you from we went from the Big Apple, now we're in the Mini Apple, Twin Cities, Minnesota, Midwest, United States of America. Yeah, this is Slice. I'm broadcasting on a cool, actually it's pretty hot. It's 9 p.m. where I'm at, so it's a little weird. I'm not used to broadcasting at this hour. But tonight we're going to be talking about divorce. But before we get to that, I have a little personal news. I've been hanging out, doing a little shopping, a little local shopping. I got a new camera, which I want to show you guys. This is an Olympus point and shoot. I'll wait for that. Thank you, Graves Mortels, for the follow. Hope you'll stick around for future streams. XA2. Excited to take some pictures with it. Maybe on the road trip back to New York, I'll get that done. Also went to my old stomping grounds, Cheapo Records, and I bought some new vinyl. old vinyl, I should say. Sometimes you just have to. I don't know about you guys, but I like to buy records just because they kind of look cool. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay. This record is called Ducks Deluxe. Don't Mind Rockin' Tonight. Looks kind of cool, right? You just got to get stuff that looks cool sometimes, you know? If it looks cool, you're going to listen to it more often. That's how I feel anyway. Next up, this is a Minneapolis legend from the 80s. His name is Curtis A. I don't usually do this, but I'm just in the mood tonight. Curtis A. The lighting is really bad in here. Record is called Damage is Done. I know how that feels. And last but not least, this one just, I couldn't resist from the little cutout that sometimes at Cheapo you like to put little like notes to entice the buyers in, and this one got me. This is Walter Wanderley. Album's called Rainforest. And I just thought that was a great little note. I don't know what it means, but some of the people in the chat right now might be hip to the fact that I've been getting into rollerblading lately, so this one really got me. Anyway, okay. Tonight we're going to talk about divorce. I'll start off by I'll play this voicemail I got from Laura, and I don't have my little ticker that will show who the caller is. So this is Laura calling from Indiana. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey, this is Laura from Indiana. I'm calling for the radio show. I got a divorce story. It was a few years ago. I was in this relationship, and we were engaged. I didn't have a wedding. I didn't have a diamond ring or nothing. I had like a wire wrapped hippie ring sort of thing. Anywho, it was really kind of bad situation. I left in the middle of the night sort of thing, and I go back the next day to get my stuff, and I was able to get my all my guitars and stuff. And then after that, my ex wouldn't let me come get my stuff at all. And we're not talking a couple T-shirts or nothing. I'm talking a whole dang arcade game and my Nintendo Switch and some other stuff. And this went on for a whole dang year, back and forth, and then dropping out and mutual friends trying to get it and them rejecting them and this and stuff. And one morning I was so mad I went to the courthouse, filed a dang small claims suit. And funny thing is, I got a letter from Judge Mathis. I got invited on the Judge Mathis show about all this. Anywho, about a week or so before the court date, they had some mutual friends allowed some mutual friends to get my arcade game, my Switch, and some other stuff. And so, yeah, long story short, and I got the arcade game at a tattoo shop in Henderson, French Tattoo Shop, and I got my Switch set up play, and yeah, there's more to the story. Yeah. I wish I could call and talk, but, I got to work really early. I can. All right, bye.
So that was Laura in Indiana. I wish we could have her call in live, but she's got to wake up early. She did text me one additional detail. The arcade game was returned damaged, backside all busted out, and monitor trashed. If you know Laura, she streams the original Donkey Kong arcade cabinet. Could someone drop her in the chat, please, so we can follow her at your own leisure? Yeah, that's Laura. So I have a story about the night that I found out my parents were splitting up, which I will tell you about after we get a few more calls. So lines are open now. Here's the number, 862-801-5034. Lines are open now. I'll play some music until I get a call. So see if this setup works. It's a little janky, but yeah, let's do some tunes here. Let's see.
Hey, Quan, where you at? Bring the money counter. Thug your motherfucking hand hurt. Money I cut a nigga hand. Count too much. I'm sorry, we ain't counting no more. We wed.
Data. The theme is divorce. So I'm going to tell the story of my parents getting split up. Not the whole story, unless you twist my arm. But I'll tell you the story of how I found out they were splitting up. We also could have used you about 10 minutes ago because we had some spam in the chat. So if you could take care of that, that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rich gang,
862.
yeah.
862-801-5034.
My brother. My brother.
The remedy.
We got London on the track.
Couple rollers, yes, I rollers, and I pull up on that little nigga, but flex a nigga, know that it. What? Where your heart at? I won't pour that up like my wedding. She know that she the bond, nigga, load his head. Yeah, nigga. And they bitchin' know they fucking and they suckin' when they get inside that bed with me and me, yo. Hey. And she fucking if I say so, plus she sucking if I say so, when she love it if I say so. If we fuckin', we gon' pay em. How the fuck I'm gon' buy a phone pay? I'ma come a week later. I'ma spread that pussy out like an acre. Hey. She on the cover fader. And she says my time like flavor. Plus I ain't know who ain't fishing but I bait him. Hey, don't live it like
What's up, honey? How's it going?
yeah. Got the chopper with the Mac in the back with the stack.
Waiting for our first caller, 862-801-5034.
Nigga pull up in a new car. Long nose about the flow, nigga pull up out the door, nigga fucking get a murder show. Been a hunter and a gunner and a stunner.
Did your parents get divorced? Are they about to get divorced? My grandparents, by the way, made it 49 years before they got divorced. Grandma Jackie, she's still with us. Grandpa Paul, rest in peace. But yeah, tell us your story. What happened when you were a kid or later, whatever. I just want to hear some stories because I feel like this topic is pretty juicy. Let's get some calls.
Nigga getting money representing uptown. Big B's with a few C's. For the money, it'll be your own people on you. Big matching with the OV. Backyard with the young nigga low key. 5 stars, nigga ball like a real G. New cars, nigga serving like it's Tennessee. Got a meal in them ditches. Fucking niggas, bitches. Iced out, fully loaded. 100 mil still flipping. Check a nigga digits, make a young nigga gun blow. Hot nigga, don't stop.
One call. I just want one call, then I'll tell my story, which you're going to be entertained by it, but I'm not going to kick things off. So you guys have to call in. 862-801-5034.
Big money nigga gon' pop. One stop, get your life took. Big money bitches gon' look rich. Flash, class. For the money we dash. Fuck, pass. How we did it outlast. Couple rollers, yes, I rollers, and I pull up on that little nigga, but flex a nigga, know that it. What?
Where your heart at? I'ma pour it all like my wedding. She know that she the bond, nigga, load his head.
And they bitches know they fucking and they say.
There we go. Okay. Hello, you're on ISO mode.
Hey, what's up? It's Lil Sis from San Antonio.
Little Sis from San Antonio, what's going on? Thanks for starting us off tonight.
Yeah, sorry, we got on a little late, and I was like, first caller, we got to get this shit started.
Yeah, it's 9:15, man. What's going on?
I don't know, man. That's crazy. Well, first and foremost, it's nice to talk to you.
And also to you. I've been a little AWOL lately. You know, I'm on vacation right now, in case anyone in the chat didn't know. Been on the road and taking care of this and that. I was at a wedding. But now we're talking about the other end of that spectrum. So divorce. What do you got for us?
So my parents got divorced after 32 years of marriage when I was 18, 19-ish.
Okay.
And it was pretty, like, I don't know, when your parents split when you're older, they don't, like, shield you. You know, like, when you're younger, they're like, it's not your fault. And, you know, they have to, yes, hopefully. And they take turns. They have to co-parent, and hopefully it's successful. But my parents didn't have to do that because my brother and I were already grown adults. And so
Is your brother
it was pretty
older than
ugly
you?
divorce. Yeah, he's 3 years older than me. Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a classic, like, okay, youngest
And-
18, we're done. That kind of
Right. So they didn't really have anymore, you know. And it just so happens that my dad, he worked for the railroad, like his whole working career, but he retired at like the age of 52 with like, and so when he came home and was like home all the time, because, you know, he'd be on the road a lot during doing railroad shit, whatever. And I think that kind of like was the first time that they ever lived together, like all the time. And my dad kind of like went through a midlife crisis and went a little crazy. And I actually moved out at that time with my boyfriend, and my dad was really pissed about it. And that put a strain on my parents' marriage, I guess. And it was just like
So it was your fault.
terrible. Pretty much, yeah. No, yeah. They didn't worry about telling me it's not your fault. Like, my dad's family would call me and be like, "This is all your fault," like that they're getting a divorce and shit. And it was just really, really dramatic. And dad has had a slew of girlfriends before and after, and possibly during his relationship with my mom.
Right.
So, and you know, I think that the grass isn't always greener, and my dad has a lot of regrets, but you know, that ship has definitely sailed. My mom would never take him back, nor do I think he would ask her to. But yeah, very, very weird thing to see your parents go through. Like the way I felt about it was, like I said, I never really felt like they were in love.
Yeah.
But my parents had been through a lot of stuff together that I felt like you could get through all of those things, but like now you can't be together anymore. It's just weird. After that long, like, I don't know, it's just strange. I'm happy that it happened because I think that they didn't need to be together, but it's still pretty bizarro.
Yeah. Were you guys okay, like in high school and everything? Did you have any hints that they were like not getting along?
Oh, my parents fought a lot. Like, not like in front of me, but my dad would do this thing where he would give my mom the silent treatment, and like for weeks.
Oh God.
And it was so immature and like just over the top. Like my dad retired when I was a sophomore in high school, and so he was around all the time. And that was definitely a big change for all of us, because he would be gone like 4 or 5 days out of the week and then be home for like a day where he would just sleep and then have like one day to hang out with us and then go back. So we were all kind of used to him in small doses. It was great. Yeah, it was great. Because my dad's a very strong, like, personality, and he's pretty controlling. So it was nice to kind of like just have our routine. And when he came back, it just like mixed everything up, and that definitely took a toll on their marriage for sure.
I always kind of fantasized about the railroad jobs being, I guess, kind of a stereotypical manly job or whatever, like just dudes out working on the railroad. And what do they do out there anyway? What is a railroad job like?
Well, for most of his life, he would just like, basically he would drive all the way out to Del Rio in his truck, which Del Rio's like 3.5 hours from San Antonio, maybe a little less. And then he would go on the train from there and just like carry loads to different places. So he was just like driving trains. And
He was what do they call it? Not the engineer. Conductor.
He was some kind of something like that. I don't know what his title was exactly.
Because I always just imagine like a dude swinging a huge sledge and driving stakes into the ground or something like that, but it's not quite like that, is it?
Right? No. Well, then later on in life, he started to do like the inventory and like loading cars. So he basically just worked at the train yard. So, which to me sounds kind of like a demotion, but he made more money.
Okay. Oh, it looks like...
But he started doing that when he turned 18, so...
I think the chat is saying that we missed part of the story. I think I got cut out, but I think we're back now. So, sorry about that, guys. But
what part did they miss?
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Who knows? We'll have to circle back, and you can put it in the chat if you're in there, if they have questions.
Yeah, I can do that for sure.
Right. Well, thanks for calling
Yeah,
in, little
so,
sis.
Yeah, of course, I can't wait to hear your story.
Okay, I'll tell it now.
All right.
All right, bye.
Nice chatting with you.
Yep. See you
Bye.
on Fortnite. All right, that was little sis in San Antonio. Sorry about the interruption there, guys. I'm not sure what happened, but hopefully we're back now. The Wi-Fi, this is my old bedroom in Minneapolis. The Wi-Fi was never good in here. And I should know because I was in a long distance relationship back in these days, and like trying to do over the air stuff was just not poggers. It was not massive. So anyway, I'll tell my story right now about what happened with my parents. So my parents, kind of similar to little sis, actually, I would say, never really got the impression that, I don't know, they were super in love. It just seemed like they kind of got married because, oh, he was there, oh, she was there. Like they just kind of decided to get married. It wasn't like a super passionate romantic thing. But anyway, we went through high school. Everything was fine. They didn't really fight too much. Oh, hold on.
DJ.
Thanks for the sub, Gen Z. Appreciate that. So yeah, anyway, parents. Yeah. I went through all my undergrad degree, college, moved around. It was just a few years ago. So I was like 10 years out of high school and I was the youngest. So I kind of figured we're safe. Like they're going to be together until, run out the clock pretty much. Didn't know anything was wrong at all. And so I'm going to do a little bit of rock talk, and don't even say anything because this is my show and I can talk about what I want. I was on tour with my roommate's band, which was the Courtneys, and Jen was my very close friends and roommate, and she had met my parents and everything, like the whole band, the Courtneys. They all knew my parents and stuff. So we were on tour, and we were at the halfway point of the tour, coming up from, we did like the West Coast. So we were coming up from Southern California all the way up to Vancouver and then across Canada into the Midwest, basically. And Vancouver, which is where I lived at the time, was the halfway point of the tour. So we had like a couple days to just chill in our home, like in our beds, whatever, and just like relax before the second leg of the tour. And this was Halloween 2015, okay? So let me set the tone a little bit. There was spooky fall vibes out. And I was going to dress up as a nun. There's a picture, I think, of me and Jen. Jen's dressed up as Darth Maul. I'll try to get that in the Discord later if possible. But anyway, so it's Halloween morning. We had 2 shows in Vancouver. The first one was October 30th. We did the show. Next morning is October 31st, Halloween 2015. And at this time in my life, I had a landline phone, which you guys might remember about me if you've known me a while. I used to have a landline home phone. There was no cell phone in my life. And I woke up to the phone ringing. Pick up the phone, say hello. And it's my dad. He says, "Hey, Will, have you talked to Mom yet today?" And I said, "No, why would I have talked to Mom?" And he was like, "Well, I'll just give her a call." And I was like, "Why would you not just hand the phone to her? Like, is she in the kitchen or something, or the bathroom? Like, can you just give her the phone?" And he was like, "Well, just give her a call on her cell phone." And I was like, "Okay." So I hang up, call my mom's phone, and she sounds like she's kind of out of breath. She's like walking or something. And I was like, "Hey, Dad told me to call you or something? What's going on?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to talk to you because I'm going to be moving out tomorrow." And I was like, "What?" Like, I was still waking up. I was like, "What? Where are you guys moving? You didn't tell me you guys were moving somewhere." And she was like, No, just me. I'm moving out of the house." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Didn't know this was. This is catching me off guard. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't think you'd be that surprised." And I was like, "Why would I not be surprised?" I had no idea this was coming. And she was like, "Well, told me some reasons about why she felt like she had to split up. They weren't talking about divorce just yet, but they were splitting up, and she was moving out, obviously." So I was in shock. This is, huge surprise. I'm 26, 27 years old. Like I said, I thought we were in the clear. And I just hung up the phone. As soon as I hung up the phone, literally hung up the phone, because it was a landline, I set it down into the cradle, and the phone starts ringing again. And I was like, okay. Answer the phone, thinking it's going to be my mom again or my dad, but it's Courtney from the Courtneys. And she says, hey, Will. I said, hey, Courtney, what's going on? And she said, did you park the van last night? I said, no, I thought you had the van. And she was like, okay, yeah, it's gone. So we're in the middle of this, national tour, and she's like, yeah, someone stole the van. And I was just like, this is just seconds after I found out my parents are getting divorced. And I was just like, okay. And I just didn't know what to say. She's like, yeah, I'll keep looking for it, but it's gone. And so I hung up, and then it was still really early in the morning, so I walked over to Jen's room, my roommate, who was in the band. I knocked on the door, and she was like, come in. And I was like, hey. And she was like, hi. She could tell I was just like deer, in the headlights, didn't even know what to say. And she's like, what's up? And I was like, I just got 2 really insane phone calls. I don't really know where to start. And she was like, what happened? And I was like, I just couldn't. I remember I was standing in the doorway. I just could not spit the words out. I didn't even know. I don't know what to tell you first. One is more immediate, but one is more permanent, maybe. I don't really know. I stood there for a good 30, 40 seconds before I told her yeah, I think my parents are getting divorced, and by the way, the van's gone. So it was pretty crazy. It's a very memorable Halloween. So I'll try to get the picture up later, but lines are open, 862-801-5034. Thanks for tuning in to Isolation Mode. We got half an hour left.
And she fucking if I say so, plus she sucking if I say so, and she love it if I say so. If we fucking, we gon' pay them. How the fuck I'm gon' buy phone pay them? Yeah. Come on, we later. I'ma spread that pussy.
Oh, it was funny at the time too, honestly. We were both, kind of like little sis. I'm an adult, so I wasn't that, I'll tell you later.
She act like an acre. She on the cover of Fatal, and she says my time like flavor. Plus I ain't no way fishing, but I bait them. Ain't no living.
Thanks for the sub, Fearsome Lacey. Appreciate that.
Like flavor. Tell the bitch I'm coming over 3 a.m. So she better have a motherfucker clothes off. Wanna meet 3 of them, and you know that I'm a pimp, drip booted up. I ain't about to doze off. Little nigga, you a shrimp walking with a limp. I ain't had sale word, the bitch took the clothes off. Lord shit that made me sleep in Lil Xan, Lil Perk shit. All these drugs got me throwed out. I love my bitch, I can't go without. Wanna give him a seat, no sunflower. I got strong jeans, my little boy legit like me. Ain't trying to be what you want in one night. You talking about what then? Put up with that nigga bitch in the car and then her baby daddy wanna fight me. That punk man make it jump, man. You would think his ass was sponsored by Nike. Every little kid idol. Got more verse than the Bible. The lifestyle I live here priceless. Pull up on your head like a diaper. Gripping on my neck like Michael. I see shit before it happen like a psychic. Get your bitch, don't want that broke hoe around me. And me and Thug still on the run, so fuck your bounty. I love my girl so much, that money, I let her count it. Cop a roller, yes I roll and I pull up on that little nigga. But flex a nigga, know that it. What? Where your heart at, I won't pull that up like my wedding. She know that she the bomb, nigga, load his head. Yeah, nigga. And they bitchin' know they fucking and they sucking when they get inside that bed with me and me, yo. Hey. And she fucking if I say so, plus she sucking if I say so, and she love it if I say so. If we fucking, we gon' pay them. How the fuck I'm gon' buy phone?
Hello, you're on Isolation Mode.
Hey, it's Yoey. How are you?
Yoey, I'm good. How are you? Where are you calling from?
Calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Ah, the East Coast. What's going on?
Well, my parents have been divorced for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was 4 when they got separated and 6 when they finalized the divorce. But I feel like the most interesting, skeleton in my family closet isn't actually about their divorce. It's about my dad's first family's divorce, which my mom was, involved in.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Well, I just want to preface this that it's a little bit of an uncomfortable story, and I think, as I was younger, I was a little like ashamed of like this dark family secret, but I don't know. I don't mean to like build it up or anything, but
Oh, it's just a little, it's a courtesy content warning.
yeah. So my mom had a really hard relationship with her mom, and the day she turned 18, she like moved in with like her best friend's household. And her best friend was like away at her first year of college, and my dad was the head of that household and like made a move on his like, you know, daughter's best friend.
Wow. Well, okay. So while he was still married to her best friend's mom.
Yeah, so my dad's 24 years older than my mom.
Okay.
And yeah, it was like something that I was always like putting the pieces together throughout childhood, and like, you know, I have like these half siblings that are like, I grew up like they were like my aunts and uncles, but like noticed that there was like weird distance in our relationship that I didn't understand. It was like a very different kind of situation.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it didn't work out, but I think it was also like quite spicy. Like this like heated affair that like, I don't know. And apparently my parents, you know, like were together for like 6 years before before my brother and I were born. And
so yeah, do you have any information about how the divorce happened and then the new marriage happened?
I know that the affair was like exposed. And I know that my dad was then like kind of this like hotshot divorcee doctor. I don't know, it was like the 80s. And my mom like wanted to go off and like make her own life and join the military for a while, and that they sent these letters back and forth. And my dad told me like quite recently that he's kept all of their correspondence.
Wow.
And that they're like all these letters are in a safe that he wants me to know about for like when he dies.
So you haven't seen them yet, but you're like gonna eventually see them probably.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, and he was in this context, he was like, you know, I want you to know like your mother and I really loved each other.
Yeah. Did sorry, I'm getting did you how did you come to like, was it mostly your mom or your dad telling you this? Like how did you piece things together? Do you remember? Was it just kind of a gradual thing?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. I think it was like it must have been my mom. I don't even know like how I found out. It's like one of those things that you've kind of known for so long but don't remember how you knew. Like it was never like a secret to me, and I think it was like an open, I don't know, kind of like everyone obviously in my whole extended family knew. Like
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah.
I always tell that to people, and they're like, "That's the craziest fucking shit I've ever heard. It should be a Lifetime movie." And I just like, I don't know. It's just like,
yeah, it's definitely very spicy. I you know, when you say that your dad was a hotshot divorcee lawyer or doctor, and it was the 80s. Let me just really quickly say that, you know, that stuff does still happen in the 2010s. I know from personal experience. But yeah, it was different in the 80s.
Wait, what?
Oh,
because your dad?
My mom.
Or no? Oh, because your mom's a hot divorcee lawyer? Are you just calling your mom hot?
No, I'm talking about the how her next relationship began after my mom and dad split up. Do you know that story?
Oh shit. A little bit, yeah. Well, didn't she go to South America?
Well, that came later. But
Okay, I don't know if I know this.
I wasn't really going to tell this one on the air because, I don't know if my mom would really appreciate that because my face is visible. Everyone knows what's going on. But if you guys want to hear it, you'll have to twist my arm and give me some more calls in. But I do appreciate the story, Yoey. One quick comment from the chat. Mr. Beanpole says that must have been a really different dynamic with your half-siblings.
Yeah, no, I think my half-sister, Diane, specifically, who, was my mom's best friend, I always thought, hated me for no reason. And I think it's really only been, in my adult life that she's, accepted me and, seen me as my own person and stuff.
Right, so it has kind of warmed up a little bit?
Definitely. Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, we'll leave it there for now. See if anyone else has anything they want to add into the chat. But thanks for calling in. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Have a good
Chippewa
night.
Falls, straight edge for life.
That's right.
All right, bye.
Bye.
862-801-5034. Give me a call if you want to talk about what it was like when your parents split up, or what it was like when you split up with your spouse, or anything along those lines. Let's see. There we go. Sorry, I'm used to having two monitors, so I'm doing everything on one screen right now. Keep up with the chat, getting the music going. It's a lot. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it is. Back on the laptop. 862-801-5034. Isolation mode.
Hi, Will.
Hi, who's this, please?
This is Annabelle from Chicago.
Good to hear from you. What's going on?
Yeah, good to hear from you, too. Well, my parents are, the two most in love people I know, so the story is not about them, but it's about my dad's dad.
Okay.
So my dad's dad, he is a man of mystery, I would say. He has just dated a lot of pretty, I'd say, eccentric people in his life, including my grandmother, my dad's mom. But for a really long time, he was with this woman, Maria. And I knew Maria growing up, she was a part of our family, and she was always weird, she was always a little off, but everyone in my dad's family is just a little strange, so I didn't really think anything of it.
Okay.
And then summer of 2013, I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona. My grandpa is living in Ajo, Arizona, which is 2 hours away with Maria. And I go to New Jersey for 2 months. And I come back home from Jersey, and my dad picks me up from the airport, and he's like, I don't know if we can go home. And I'm like, what do you mean? And
I'm sorry, how old were you at this point?
I was 14.
Okay.
And I was like, what do you mean? And my dad was like, Maria shot your grandfather and she's on the loose.
She's what?
And,
She's on the loose?
yeah.
So-
And my grandpa was,
Go ahead.
okay. So, my grandpa was in the hospital and like he was in the hospital and his door was like guarded by police, you know, and my dad tried to go in there and they were like, who the hell are you, blah, blah. And the man was like, this is my dad. And then they were like, you shouldn't go home. Like, this woman's on the loose, blah, 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 blah. And so come to find out, so my grandfather lives in Ajo, Arizona, and with Maria, and he's like a very like social guy in his community, and he like does a lot like in the community or whatever. And he owns this abandoned hospital in Ajo that people like want to use for like music videos and like ghost hunter shows and whatever the fuck. And my grandpa's always like, no, like I don't want it to be used for anything like that. I just want to keep it and whatever. And come to find out that Maria really wanted to buy it for some reason. She found some value in this thing, and they were driving together one day, and Maria, like driving, keep in mind, Arizona, middle of the fucking desert, and they were driving together, and Maria pulls out a gun on my grandpa, who is like in the passenger seat, and she's like, give me the hospital, Al. Like, give it to me. Al is my grandfather's name.
Yeah.
And my grandpa was like, no, like, I'm not going to give it to you. It's mine. I don't want to use it for anything.
Yeah.
And so she shot him. She shot him in the stomach, pushed him out of the car. Yeah, and then pushed him out of the car and zoomed off, you know. And then my grandpa walked to a convenience store while he was like bleeding out and was like, oh my God, I've been shot. Someone call the freaking police. And so, yeah, then they stopped seeing each other, obviously.
Right.
And my grandpa was so heartbroken for a long time because that was actually the second time Maria had, like, kidnapped him and held him at gunpoint. So at that point, we were all like, okay, like, we know Maria's freaky, you know.
Wait, so Maria is your grandma or not?
No. Maria was like a step-grandmother figure. My actual grandma also just a really unhinged woman. But, yeah, so I guess my step-grandma, my grandpa, yeah, he was so sad about the breakup, really. He was so sad to just come to terms with the fact that she was really just, you know, pretty nuts.
Right.
And also my grandpa, he's been kidnapped 3 times. So the first time was by a different woman. I forget, her name was like Joan or something. But yeah, that's my story, my divorce / breakup story.
That's a good one. So what about the hospital? Where is that now? Whose hands is it in?
It's in Ajo. It's in Ajo. My grandpa still owns it.
Okay, he's still with us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. He, I swear to God, that man is just going to live forever. He is, and now he's settled on a better life now. You know, he moves cacti for a living. Very sweet man. After the 3rd time he got kidnapped, we really start to see him at family gatherings more, you know. He likes to say hi.
Wow. Just so you know, little sis in the chat says, dude, my dad's stepmom shot his dad too, but she actually killed him.
Oh my God! Okay, I'm going to need to hear that story.
Okay, little sis, you hear that? We need the call if you have a story behind it. If you feel comfortable sharing it. But thank you for the call, Annabelle. Really appreciate it. That's
yeah, of
it's
course.
gonna be hard to top that one.
All right. Well, have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right, 862-801-5034. Oops. Oh, she doesn't have that many deets? Okay, well, if she wants to call in, that would be cool. If not, also cool. 862-801. Before we close out tonight. Here it is. Isolation mode. Hello? Didn't hear anything there. I don't know if, let's see. I think that might have been Little Sis again. Little Sis, if that was you, give us a call back. Couldn't hear any audio from you. 862-801-5034.
Waiting for something to break. Left my heart out to beg.
All right, let's try it again. Isolation mode.
Hey, it's Sis again.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, that wasn't me that called, but whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, let me try to call them back, and then I'll get you a second time. Hold on.
Okay.
Just give it a little diversity here. Let's see who this was.
Hello.
Hi, you're in isolation mode.
Hi.
Hi, who's this?
Tonight, this is Tommy.
Tommy, where are you calling from?
The countryside.
Tommy from the countryside. What's going on, Tommy?
So, I wanted to tell a quick little story, and it relates to a question for you.
Okay.
Well, okay. So let's just cut to it. Hopefully this person never hears this. I'm very doubtful they will. If they do,
We've dealt with that
cool.
before. We'll deal with it again.
Yeah, whatever. It's not even like that. But anyway, so let's say I matched with someone on Tinder, and I'm imagining you're playing the giggity sound clip right now.
Yeah.
So I get to talk to this person, and they're really, really nice, and I revealed to them that I work at a bakery downtown, and they're like, oh, I know that bakery. They did my wedding cake, but I'm divorced now.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, shit. Like, it's just not common in my age group to meet someone who is married or who has been married and already divorced. And I'm a little too nervous to ask for details just yet, since we haven't met in real life or anything. But
this is happening right now.
Yeah. So my question was, what would your reaction be if you met someone and found out they had already been divorced? Would you consider that a red flag, or would you just want to know more? Like, how would you think about that?
My reaction would be, giggity. Let's go. Like, no problem at all. People get married and divorced for all kinds of reasons these days. And I think, my reaction to what you just told me is like, he's being pretty upfront about it. So, or she, I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like it'd be more worried if you kind of found out through other ways. Like if you like, oh, I'm the one who put the frosting on your cake and you didn't tell me about, that kind of thing.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right, that's a good response.
Yeah,
I don't want to get.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I don't really want to talk about my parents' divorce because it's really messy and typical and disgusting. But
I mean, that sounds like it might be kind of fun to hear about, but I understand.
Yeah.
We'll put it to the chat. Little sis says I would need more details. Maybe it's just that they got married too young and grew apart.
Could be true. Could be true.
Yeah, I want to
Not
hear
a big
more about
deal.
this in the after party. Maybe we'll hit the Discord
Okay.
after this if you guys want. But,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks
Well,
for taking the call.
Of course. Have a good night, Tommy.
See you later.
Later. Okay, who did I? Okay, I missed Little Sis. Let's get Little Sis back, and then we'll call it a night. Unless you got something really good you need to tell us about, 862-801-5034.
Hey.
Hey, sorry about that, sis.
It's all good.
I just wanted to give opportunity if there's a first-time caller, you know.
Oh, of course.
And it was Tommy. We had never heard from Tommy before, so.
Yeah, I've never heard from Tommy, but love him. Love that big Tommy energy.
Definitely. Okay, so what were you going to say?
So I don't have a lot of details of this story, but my dad's parents split up when he was really young, and both of his parents remarried, and so he was mainly like raised by his stepdad, because his dad had a lot of like alcoholic tendencies and dated like rowdy women. And before, like probably like a year before I was born, my grandpa, my dad's dad, was married to this woman. I don't even know her name, but they would fight all the time, and there was always like guns involved, which is just crazy to me. That the same with Annabelle's story. Like, why are y'all just like running around with guns all the time? I don't understand. But they got into an argument one night, and she shot him a few times and killed him, and she was never arrested or charged with anything because they ruled it self-defense.
Wow. Well, you know. Well, for one thing, America is one gun-toting country, especially
and we live in Texas.
Especially down those parts. But you do hear those stories going the other way of like self-defense, that the woman gets charged with murder, and it really is self-defense. So I don't know. I don't know. We don't know much about these characters, but interesting.
And my dad never felt like he was robbed of anything or said that, that his dad was innocent or anything. He always just like, it was just very matter of fact. Yep, Jesse got shot, and that's it.
So it was your dad's
dad?
Okay. And
yeah,
how
my
old
dad's
was your
dad.
dad? Do you know?
He was probably like in his late 30s.
Okay. It's a little different than being like a little kid or something.
No. It was shortly, like it happened like right before I came along, but
I see.
Yeah, so.
Wow. Crazy.
Yep, so that was that.
Well, thanks for the call. Will we see you in the Discord after this?
All right, sounds good.
All right. I guess that's a yes.
Bye.
All right. Good night. I missed one more call. Let's see what this was. Give this person one more chance, and then we'll end it there.
Hello.
Hey, you're on isolation mode.
Hey, what's up? This is Kaden John from Buffalo.
Good to hear your voice, my friend.
Yeah, you too. I know you're trying to wrap up, so I'll try to make this a quick one. It does get a little crazy, but
okay. I always appreciate your calls. Make it as long as you want, just for you. And by the way, chat, listen up, because this is what we call a model caller. Sorry, not to hype it up too much.
Oh man, now the pressure's on.
All right.
But yeah. Anyway, this is a divorce story about a family down the street that I grew up with. Kind of moved to this small town in 2000 with my family, and there's a family down the street that's kind of like had some kids the same age group, so we'd pal around the neighborhood.
Okay.
And me and my brothers were like relatively well-behaved kids, but whenever we went over there, we just like touched our inner problem child and like tormented these kids and were like
Yeah.
absolute brats.
Yeah,
And
you
like
guys are the brats. or they were?
anytime, oh no, we were like really just terrible friends. I don't really know why. Like
Some
I'm
people
generally
just bring it out
a
of
nice
you.
person, but
Bring it out of you. Yeah.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and
Okay.
like anytime something like bad or like unfair happens in my life, I'm like, oh, this is because I would hock a loogie in Jack Everett's GameCube when he wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Or like this is
Definitely.
just like my karma coming from those childhood years.
Gotcha.
But so when we were over there, we'd usually hang out in their basement. They had like a finished basement and like a TV, and they had a computer in the corner that no one was supposed to be allowed on. But you know, since we were such like rule breakers,
Yep.
we convinced them to go on the computer. And me and my brothers looked in the file explorer on the computer, and we found a bunch of downloaded porn.
Okay.
And we're like, ha ha, you guys are watching porn. And like, meanwhile, these kids are like 7 to 10, probably
So-
not watching porn, but
A little early for that.
yeah.
So.
And it turns out it was the dad that was watching all this porn behind the wife's back. And I think since the kids found out, they might have brought it up somehow. So the wife found out. She found out that her husband had a chronic masturbation problem. And
Okay.
then later after that, we hear that they're getting divorced.
Wow.
And I was just kind of like, oh, that's too bad. Like, I don't talk to those kids anymore. But
Yeah.
to divorce someone over like an addiction is, I don't know, it's a little weird.
So that was you
But-
think it was because of you guys though, pretty much.
Yeah, kind of. I feel like we definitely played a part.
Yeah. You push things
So
along.
I was
a little.
visiting my folks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple of years ago, I was visiting my mom, and we were talking about that family, and she said that when the mother found out about all that porn, she like needed to talk to like another woman, so she kind of confided in my mom, and it turns out all the porn this guy downloaded, he was like entering his two daughters' names into like the porn search engine to find like porn stars with his daughter's names, which is pretty messed up.
Whoa.
Like, that's where I can feel like where the wife would just flat out like, I'm getting divorced, want you out of my life, away
Yeah,
from the kids.
that would do it for me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah. That's
I
pretty
think
crazy.
the kids like were still in touch with their dad. I don't know like what their relationship was like,
Yeah.
but I know the two sons are at least like still buddy with their dad. And like a few years ago, they're like in their mid-20s, I think, and they both decided to become cops.
Okay.
Probably maybe because I think their dad was like a PO or something. So maybe he kind of like gave them the idea.
Wow.
But the dad, I don't think ever really recovered from that. I think he became an alcoholic, and he was like getting DUI after DUI. I think it was like his 4th or 5th DUI in a matter of like maybe a 5-year, 10-year span. And he was going to go away to prison. And before I think he was like brought to court, he stole one of his son's guns like right as they became a cop and committed suicide with it.
Whoa. So this is
Which is
the same
pretty
dad.
rough. Yeah, the chronic masturbator.
Wow.
So
That is quite the spiral from that
yeah,
childhood you described.
yeah, and I think about that family like every once in a while, and like I kind of wish I could just like make my amends with
Yeah.
the two kids I used to torment, but now they're like cops in
Now
the
they're
small
cops.
town. So if they see me, it's probably just like on site detain them.
Definitely
This
gonna be on
kid was a
site.
jerk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, that's
Go ahead.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Just kind of a divorce that I thought was at the beginning just like
Run of the
two
mill.
people. Yeah, and then it just was actually this whole messed up thing.
Well, yeah, you never know. I mean, all families have some weird shit into the surface. Guilty as charged. Nothing like that has happened yet to mine, but at least not that I know of. But yeah, thanks for calling in. That is quite the story.
Yeah.
Definitely a sad ending. Tragedy. It's a tragedy. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes divorces are for the better, but you never really can tell. Never want to judge people.
That's true. That's true. All right. Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, man, it's nice talking to you again. Have a good night.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, that was, yeah, sorry to cut you off in the chat there, TTV. I just think it gets a little distracting when we're having two stories going at once. So if you want to call in to tell us what you're talking about, we will take your calls. But no stories in the chat. That's one of the rules around here. So no need to apologize. Just don't do it again. Anyone have a lighter note we can end things off on? I don't see any other missed calls, so I guess I can just leave you with a little music and some Josh content to lighten the mood a little bit. But no guarantees I'll be on next week because it's Mother's Day. It's my last day in the Midwest, so I'll probably be packing up to head back to the East Coast. But yeah, thanks for calling in tonight, everyone. Thanks for sticking with me through the technical glitches. If you want to know about the rest of my mom's story, I'll tell it in the Discord. I can't really tell it in a public format for now. Have a great night, everyone.